What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. And today I feel like I owe you guys a whole bunch of reviews. So I decided I'm gonna do something that I'm gonna call the two mod review. So the two mods that we're going to be reviewing in this video is going to be the Perrin equal length header and the Perrin oil cooler. So let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Looking down, because of course, come on, y'all, man, I got my cheat sheet. So I feel like this is just something I decided I was going to do, seeing as though that I've been on the header for a long period of time. I hadn't been on there. I hadn't been on the Perrin oil cooler for a while. But I think I want to kind of give you guys an update on how they've been performing and kind of give a difference between the two as far as from a power rating on the car. So first thing we're gonna start with on this one, y'all, is we're gonna start with the Perrin equal length header. So let's get into it. So a recap of the installation, man. Installation process, if you guys remember, and you know what, matter of fact, I put the video over here in the left corner, and when we installed that thing, it wasn't that bad of an install. The only thing that gave me crap was pretty much it's the head studs. So, well, not the head studs, but some of the studs that were in it, especially for trying to take that thing off of there. One of them was so bad, God dog it, man, that I had to call over some help. I had to call my uncle over, man. My uncle came over, he helped me get that thing out of there. And I think that was the hardest part of that whole little process. Other than that, it wasn't that bad. I mean, wrapping it was another thing, but wasn't that bad of an install if it just wasn't for the head stud. I don't know why I keep saying head studs, dog, but the mounting studs that are on the flange for the header, from the turbo to the header to get the turbo off of the stock header. And then, putting everything back on, I went ahead and got replacement studs, the Grimspeed ones, and those worked out really well. Okay, so then now let's get into the meat and potatoes of what I know you guys want to know about, and that's the difference in power from the stock header to the Perrin header. So now, before, whenever I just to kind of gauge it, because I didn't get a turbo, I didn't get the dyno, I didn't get a dyno before I had it and after I have it, kinda. Or after I installed it. But to kind of make it make sense, because of the last dyno session that we did have, the numbers that I got from installing the header, so during my first tune that I got on the car, the numbers were, I had 254 horsepower and 275 foot-pound of torque. And that was before I had the header on the car, so I still was on the stock header. This was just me when I had my stage 1 tune. I had the Mishimoto cold air intake. I had the Mishimoto top mount, and then I had the carb J pipe, and just pretty much that stuff. So that got me that number. So now the way that I can kind of identify the power change from that one to the other one is me getting my the 93 tune before I got the E85 tune. So when I got my flex fuel tune, they have to do a 93 octane tune first to kind of get a base, and then after that they put E85 in, and then you get the tune from there, and then you start from those numbers. So when I did get that tune, my horsepower numbers on 93 octane after the fact, so this is after the header, it was 273 horsepower, and that's to the wheels, and then the torque numbers went up to 290. So what that means is that I pretty much got a 19 horsepower increase and a 15 foot-pound torque increase just from adding the header on there. It's not exactly scientific, but it kind of gives you a range in how much there were of a power difference that I got from adding that on there. Because other than that, ain't really nothing else that I've added on the car during that time frame that would, kind of dictate or change those numbers too much. So there's that. Okay, so now, saying that, on the Perrin website, they pretty much tell you the range is going to be 20 horsepower and 20 foot-pound of torque, which of course we're not that far off from the power numbers that they suggested that you would have from adding the header to your car. So as far as the horsepower, it was dang near spot on. I got a 19 horsepower gain, but I didn't get, now it's gonna vary depending on your car, but you know, I think my torque was, I got 15 foot-pound of torque more than I had previously. So, you know, there's like I said, it's a range. It's not like exact, but you know, each car is different. They respond differently to mods. So what I could say about the header definitely held up extremely well. I don't have any complaints about it. The only issue that I had ever had with that thing is just, and it's not the header, it's the bolts. So, you know, I think for the most part, I put a lot of the stock bolts back. And since then, when I lose one, because from time to time I would lose one, it will fall off of there and I'd be like, oh man, I got rod knock. No, it wasn't rod knock. It was just the header was just vibrating because it came loose. I will replace those with the Grimspeed bolts. They come with their stud kit from putting on the J-pipe and all of that stuff. I put that on there, hadn't had a problem since. So, and you can't really, you can put Loctite on there, but that's an extremely hot component. It's gonna melt. But, you know, other than that, man, it's performed solidly. I haven't had any issues with it. It's a good install. It did change, it did add power to the car, and it did make the car feel and sound better too. So there was a difference in sound as well. So as far as for my long-term review of that part, if you're interested in getting one, I mean, I would highly suggest you get it because it's a nice little power increase. Plus, if you do get it, when you put it on the car, you don't have to get the car tuned. But in order to get the full advantages of having a bigger header on the car, you should get a tune. That way you can kind of get all that power. But, and they even tell you that on the website, you don't have to have a tune to install. You can just install it and you're good to go. So there's that. All right then now, fam. So now, let's talk about the Perrin oil cooler. Now, I haven't had that on the car that long, but I do have some interesting notes on how it's been performing and even possible upgrade opportunities if I want to, you know, if you want to get even more cooling. One of the first things I want to say about the oil cooler, and I'm pretty sure I said this to you guys already whenever I did put that on the car, just to kind of get my first, you know, impressions of it, is that it warming the car up is different. Now, it was cold then, it's not as cold now, but it's still a little bit cooler, but that shouldn't change the variation of that too much. Now, like I say, the real test is going to be when the summertime hits, which I'll be getting another review from me then, because then after, watching that part of it and trying to see how it performs during that heat, when it gets real hot out here, that's going to let me know if I need to make some other upgrades, which we're going to get into in a few. So now I'm not saying that the fact that it takes a little bit longer to warm up, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That just means that it's keeping the oil cooler during that process. So like I say, it's not a bad thing that's happening. It's just, I noticed it. That's pretty much why I'm telling you that. So again, if you want to watch that install, I'm gonna have the link to that video in your left corner, so you guys can check that thing out. Not that bad of an install. It was a few things that I had to modify, a few things that I have to change. But like I say, we talk about all of that in the video. I had to change the cross brace, god dang it. Because I like that lower class garage front cross brace. Really liked it. But I was able to find a substitute that would fit in there kind of just the same. So now, some other things that I did do that I was thinking that I may want to add to the cooler to try and make it perform better, but that was just, you know, I got to see how it performs as is, and then at that point I can start adding stuff. I did buy a cooling fan that would fit on there, but it'll be some modifications and switches and stuff that I would have to add. And from being honest, I noticed that I was looking around and I found out that because of the manufacturer who actually makes the cooler part of it, the little, the cooling fans and all that stuff, the little radiator, I guess it is for the oil that Perrin uses, that company, they have a lot of other things. They have like ones that you can buy. And like I said, I'll link that stuff in the description. There's two types you can get. You can get one that's just got the upgraded oil cooler. So now let's get into what they're rated as. So the Perrin is pretty much, it's a 10-row unit and it's rated to 200 to 220 horsepower. So yeah, we got problems because I'm thankfully, I'm up to 350 now. So that's a cool thing, man. I'm super happy about that. But there's an upgraded one that you can get from the actual manufacturer who does make that cooler for Perrin. It's a 25-row unit. So it's doubled in size and it's rated from 325 to 425 horsepower. So, and that company's called Trap. So they also have a version of that has a pretty much a shroud and a fan that attaches to it exactly the way it's supposed to. So all I would have to do is probably maybe either splice it into another fan switch that'll kick on the cooling fans, or I could kick it onto a fan and put it on a toggle switch and click that thing on whenever I want to, because like I said, your boy does want to get into some aggressive driving here at some point, but there's a lot of other supporting mods that I have to do in order to do that. That stuff is coming. But so like I said, I'm trying to judge all of that by when it gets hot. I get to determine if it's gonna hold up, but I'm pretty sure as hot as it gets down here, I need the maximum amount of cooling. Now, those replacement units that are bigger than the Perrin one, they have the exact same fitting, so the same lines will fit on there. The only thing I would have to do is modify the area and the brackets so that I could get it mounted. So that's something that I'm thinking about doing in the future, but we're gonna find out when that happens. So as far as my short-term review of how it's been performing great, man. I haven't had any issues, no leaks. The only thing is when you change your oil, you do have to remember that you have to add not necessarily add an extra quart of oil, because whenever I do an oil change, a lot of that oil is still sitting in there. It would kind of be cool if it had like a little drain plug on there where you can kind of drain the oil out of there. And it'd be nice if it had a fill too. You could fill it up, but that's neither here nor there. Even then, I change my oil at such a frequent level that it really doesn't matter. So, but there is that. So that's pretty much a review of those two components. I'm probably going to start doing quite a few of those because I have some things on here that I do want to do some more reviews on and talk about. If you guys have any suggestions on any two mods that you guys would like to see me or like to hear me review, they kind of give you an idea of how they, if it's parts that you're interested in, at least from a long-term standpoint, then let me know, man. Throw that in the comments, man. Let me know what two things those are, or even one thing, and I'll just throw something else in there with it. But, like I said, I want to try and make sure I'm giving you guys the best content and information you can to use to make a sound decision on the mods that you add to your car, because it's important. You don't want to add stuff to your car and then you're not knowing how it's performing and it doesn't perform the way you think it should. I try to word the things and I put some thought into what I say to try and make sure I'm giving as accurate a description as I can as to what my experience is with these mods. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm trying to make my whole idea, my whole plan is to help you guys out as much as I can and give you as much knowledge as I can on the mods that I have, so you guys can kind of, like I said, make sound decisions on the mods that you get, because you can just spend a boatload of money. I guess that's pretty much what I've been doing, spending a boatload of money, just switching this part, just to see what I like. But, that's kind of my outtake on it. If you want to know more, If you want me to dig in a little deeper, or if you have specific questions on those mods that we did review on today, let me know, man. Throw it in the comments, man. You holler at me, I'm gonna holler back. So the weather has not been too agreeable, and my schedule is, you know what, we're gonna have to have another conversation. I'm trying to throw some installs in here, but in between that, there's some things I need to talk to you guys about. There's some, like I said, reviews that I want to get done as well. And there are events that I want to make. So there may be a lapse in when I upload content, especially for me changing it to Monday. That's going to make it more difficult, but I'm thinking that that's working out a little bit better, because checking out my analytics, you guys tend to look at the videos more on Mondays, like after 3 o'clock, really like after 4 or 5. So I'm trying to, you know, facilitate putting my stuff out there at that time so you guys can see it then. Got a whole week to kind of check it out. So there may be some lapses, but like I said, the next talking video that I do is going to be me kind of talking to you guys about a few things that's on my mind, that's kind of weighing heavy on me, and changes to my schedule. And it's going to be temporarily, because like I said, I got a lot of stuff going on in the background. I don't want to talk about it in this video because I feel like I done already dragged this video out way too long. I didn't want to make too long a video, just a quick little review of a couple of parts, a couple of mods that I put on the car. So appreciate you guys, man. If you made it this far in the video, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, hit all so you get notified whenever I put out a video. And until that next video, fam, peace.